Hi everyone, it's me, Krylios, Team Rayceen Productions co-host and moderator. And joining me is the Empress of Pride, Rayceen Pendarvis.
Bam! Greetings and salutations, all.
Joining us is Londyn. Welcome.
Hello, how are you doing today? It's a pleasure to be here amongst company and friends.
Pleasure to have you here.
We're so happy. We are so happy to have you. Please share with our viewers a little bit about yourself and tell us what you do.
Sure, my name is Londyn Smith Richelieu. I bring a wealth of knowledge in health policy, LGBTQ advocacy, and community organizing to my role as the first trans woman to sit on a mayoral cabinet here in Baltimore. I am the director of the Mayor's Office of LGBTQ Affairs and also the executive director of the Mayor's Office of LGBTQ Commission, which is a branch of our office that is actually ran by community members.
Amazing. And it's so great to have an appointment like that where you're able to connect with the community, but, also be that liaison with the government. So, tell everyone about the Baltimore's Mayor's Office of LGBTQ Affairs and the important function that you serve in the city of Baltimore.
Sure. So the Mayor's Office of LGBTQ Affairs is here to connect LGBTQ plus residents as well as the visitors with our city services and our service delivery process. Our office is not a direct service office. We are an executive office of the Mayor's Office. So we're here to advocate on behalf of programs and policies that benefit the lives of LGBTQ constituents. We also would like to provide little micro grants as well as other grant opportunities to community-based organizations. This year, we were able to provide $1.5 million to the Maryland Pride Center, as well as $500,000 to Baltimore Safe Haven, as well as $475,000 to Free State Justice, all LGBTQ serving and ran organizations. One of the other exciting pieces about my job is that we get to host events that enrich and promote and bring together LGBTQ residents here and help them to thrive.
Awesome, amazing. And I know that earlier you mentioned that there are some updates and things happening with the office, new legislation and stuff. Could you touch on that a little bit before we get to the next question?
Yeah, so as you know, I don't know if you all do know, but Baltimore City was one of the first cities to protect gender identity and sexual orientation in our city ordinance. And so that's under what's called our Article 4. And so what we are working together with myself and Councilman Christopher Burnett, we've been working on something called the unlawful practices. And so I can just give you a brief, quick synopsis of the bill. So, it starts off by saying, for the purpose of extending certain protections against discrimination to an individual, regardless of the individual's HIV or AIDS status, other characteristics or status, or association with individuals with a particular characteristic or status, prohibiting the willful use of incorrect name or pronouns of an individual under certain circumstances, requiring a certain notice be posted in certain facilities, generally relating to discrimination based on an individual's protected status. And so this is how we're going to be repealing and reordaining the amendments to Article 4 of the Community Relations, which is our anti-discrimination policy here in Baltimore City. And this would include this includes employment, public accommodations, education, health and welfare agencies, and so also housing as well. And I'm pretty excited about this. So I testified on May the 24th in front of City Council on the necessity of this legislation. And hopefully, if you are in Baltimore, if anyone's in Baltimore and you're watching, please come out and support me. This is really big for us to do, and I'm excited.
It seems that you have your hands full. You have come into this position and got the ball running and just got the wheels turning. But, when you talk about being a director and coming into this amazing position, how has it taught you about your government, or working with your government, taught you about your community?
Wow. So I'm glad you brought that up, Rayceen. And so it's a very hard thing to work to be a part of the community that you serve in a role in a governmental position, because you have a relationship with a lot of people, right? So people are calling you, can this happen? Can you make this happen? And they don't understand the mechanisms of government, right? They don't understand the bureaucracy, how the machine rolls, right? And that also that I have an allegiance to our mayor, right? I have an allegiance to our administration and what our 5 pillars are, the mayor's 5 pillars. And I have to separate myself, right? I have to separate Londyn, that everyone knows, or separate Londyn, mother of the house of Miyake Mugler, or separate that Londyn from Londyn as the director of the mayor's office of LGBTQ affairs, and separate that from Londyn, who's the executive director of the LGBT commission, right? It's 3 different, I work in 3 different mechanisms, right? What I've learned is that we need to start providing capacity to community so they can understand how it works, right? And so by building capacity building workshops around just basic civics, right? Teaching community members, like, what is budgeting, right? How does the budgeting process work? How do we decide, how does this org get selected over this org? How does this foundation, deliver funds to this group? Like, how does the philanthropic system work? Like, how do all of these pieces work and go? And I think that another thing that I've definitely learned in this position is that sometimes a lot of the community-based organizations don't have the capacity to even apply for some of the grants and the monies that are out there, and they don't even know that the monies exist. And so I want to make sure that I'm a steward for this, and making sure that I let community-based organizations know, particularly LGBTQ serving and ran organizations, know what funds are there, how to access those funds, and how to apply for those funds. And also providing oversight of those funds.
Certainly. And of course, with your role, you are aware of all the upcoming events, everything that people can do, everything that people can get involved with. So let me know some of these upcoming things or upcoming events that you are excited about.
Sure. Well, on June the 9th at Baltimore City Hall, we're hosting a LGBTQ an art festival, right? And so City Hall has a historic gallery on our entry level in our lobby next to our rotunda. And so I decided one of the things with my office is that I created a campaign called #BeMoreAmplified, right? Be more. And the idea is to amplify the voices of those who typically don't have the space, don't get the opportunity. I have a seat at the table, right? I believe in using my privilege to make sure that I change the menu at the table so that everyone can eat. And so this is an opportunity to give space to those in the art community to speak, because a lot of times words are not the only way that we communicate, right? Historically, we as a marginalized population, we've communicated through art, we've communicated through dance. And so I want to give space to people to communicate their joys and their triumphs, and their resilience, not just their pain, right? Pride Month is not just it's a party, but it's also a protest. And it's also about celebrating and uplifting the resilience of community. With so much legislation nationally here to erase trans community, it is important to be able to center Black and Brown community in a space with policymakers, right? So they can show their joy, show their triumph through their art. So on June the 9th, we'll be hosting that event from 5 to 8 at Baltimore City Hall. I'm sorry, 5, we changed the date times. 5:30 to 8 at Baltimore City Hall. Another thing that we're working on is rhythms. And so the city has something through Baltimore City Parks called Rhythms and Reels, where at the parks you can have music or you can have a movie. And so this year I reached out and I was like, well, we need to have an LGBTQ specific film, right? Like, why not use this as a time to be inclusive, bring people together, start a conversation. And so I've been meeting with Baltimore City Park, and we've been talking about doing a screening on the screen in Baltimore City Hall of a film to be announced, TBA. And so that's one of the other events. Another thing that I'm working on is Pride Center of Maryland is in charge of our Pride here, Pride in Baltimore. So there's going to be Pride Week from the week of the 19th through the 24th. And don't forget, Baltimore Safe Haven is hosting Trans Pride here, which will be the weekend of the 2nd of June. And there will be a ball on June the 2nd at 2640, I think St. Paul, 2640 St. Paul. It's It's an old church, and the space is used a lot of times for balls and for community to kind of come together and meet. And so that it will be on June the 2nd. You can always check my social media, check my office's social media for any updates of things that are coming up. There are so many other things that are in the works, and I don't want to like share them yet, but there's some great things coming out. One of the other things is just announced is that Baltimore, we also scored a perfect score of 100 on the MEI index, which is the Municipal Equality Index by the Human Rights Campaign and Equality Federation, showing that we are a city on the road to justice.
Amazing.
Wonderful. But for those who can feel your passion, such as ourselves, and those who want to know more, please tell our viewers how they can learn about you, your office, and what's upcoming.
Well, you can always check my social media at Londyn, LONDYN_RICH, or you can check my city page at BALT, BALT, City, CITY, LGBTQ. Those are the ways that you can check us on Instagram, but there's also my Twitter, which is also Londyn_Rich, and my Facebook, which is Londyn Smith Richelieu, Londyn, SMITH, space DE, space RICHELIEU. And my office's Facebook is BALT LGBTQ, BALT City LGBTQ, similar to our Instagram page.
Awesome. Viewers, please look in the description below for links. Londyn, thank you so much for joining us today. It's been such a pleasure getting to chat with you and learning more about the fabulous work that the Baltimore's Mayor's Office of LGBTQ Affairs is doing. So thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much. It is a pleasure.
Thank you.
To our viewers, please follow Team Rayceen Productions on social media and click around our YouTube channel and check out our other interviews, blogs, forums, and more. While you're there, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Rayceen, what would you like to tell our viewers?
Thank you for watching.